Welcome to American Baker in Germany. I'm Michelle, and this is
Sabrina.
And how old are you?
5.
And soon you're going to be?
6.
Because today, what are we making today?
My birthday cake.
Yeah, and what kind of cake are we making?
Strawberry.
And what is it going to look like?
Hogwarts.
Yeah, Sabrina really loves Harry Potter. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. And she has decided she would like a Hogwarts cake this year. So we are making lots and lots of layers of red and yellow strawberry cake.
Yeah!
And we're very excited to make it look like Hogwarts. We're going to do our best, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ready?
Yes!
Let's get started. Yay!
We really did make lots of layers of strawberry cake. We have 5 layers of 8 by 5 inch cake, 8 layers of 3 by 5 inch cake, and 6 layers of 4 inch round cake, leaving 1 of the domes on. I decided I wanted them placed on the cake board like this. I stuck them down with a bit of Swiss meringue buttercream. I also filled and frosted the cake with it as well. I stacked the cakes, alternating the colors to create red and yellow stripes inside the cake. Why, you ask? Well, Hogwarts is the name of the school that Harry Potter goes to. It's called Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Inside the school, there are 4 houses, and each one has a coat of arms and 2 colors associated with it. The house Harry Potter is in is called Gryffindor, and it has the colors red and yellow. Sabrina decided that if she were at that school, she would be in Gryffindor house as well, since it has people in it who are particularly brave. I made 2 of the cakes double barrel cakes, with dowels and a cake board in the middle, the Great Hall, and the Astronomy Tower. The Astronomy Tower was leaning just a bit, so I did my best to correct it. Then I carved the top of the Astronomy Tower into a point to form the roof. I also carved a steep roof onto the Great Hall. If you like what we do here, consider subscribing for a new cake video every week, as well as regular bonus videos with recipes and tutorials. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Then I frosted the cake with Swiss meringue buttercream. This one was a bit challenging to frost. It's easier to frost if you make all the cakes separately, instead of stacking them together onto the cake board, but it is possible if you just take your time. Then I chilled the cake in the fridge for half an hour to allow the buttercream to set up. While the cake was chilling, I prepared the fondant colors. I started with the colors for the walls of the castle, which is gray with a generous amount of brown, kind of a light taupe color. The roofs are darker gray with some blue. The colors were a bit lighter than the photos, but I felt it was appropriate for a cake. Then I covered the cake with fondant in panels. You just measure out the sides one at a time and cut the fondant to be that size. Then you sometimes need to trim it a bit at the edges. So, more information about Hogwarts. Hogwarts is inside an enchanted castle that muggles or non-magic folk can't find. The 4 houses are Gryffindor, for those who are very brave, Hufflepuff, for those who are very loyal, Ravenclaw, for those who are very clever, and Slytherin, for those who are very cunning. I'm a Ravenclaw, which has the colors blue and bronze. Hufflepuff has the colors yellow and black. Gryffindor is actually red and gold, and Slytherin is green and silver. All of the students live at the school and sleep in dormitories with other children in their house. I was trying to convey the Great Hall in the tall building with the pitched roof. The round tower is supposed to be the Astronomy Tower. The third building, I must confess, isn't a specific building of the castle. All of the Hogwarts buildings have pitched roofs, and I didn't have enough cake to make this one have a pitched roof. So I made up the building with the flat roof. Call it artistic license. Once I was finished with the walls, I covered the roofs, allowing the fondant to hang over the edges just a bit. The astronomy tower I cut into a circle and cut out a pie slice before draping it over the roof. Once the whole cake was covered in fondant, I textured it a bit with a brick impression mat that I have. It didn't work that well. It would work better if you texture it before you place it on the cake. Next, I made the central tower on the Great Hall. I made a roll of taupe fondant and inserted a skewer into the center. Then I rolled a piece of the roof color into cone shape and put it on top of the tower. Then I cut a thin strip of roof color and wrapped it around the roof. Then I inserted it into the middle of the Great Hall roof. Then I made a thinner tower around a skewer and placed it at one end of the Great Hall. The next tower was for the astronomy tower. It actually has a triple tower, but that was beyond my abilities. Then I roll out some taupe fondant nice and thick and cut it into squares. I place it on top of the flat roofed building to create towers. Then I placed some cone-shaped roofs to go on the towers. Next, I made 16 little cones to go on the corners of the towers. I made one last tower to go on the Great Hall. Now the sides of the Great Hall has these vertical columns on it between the windows. I recreated this with strips of fondant about ½ a centimeter thick. Then I glued them on the Great Hall with edible glue. And trimmed them to all be the same length. I did the same thing on the other side of the building, but it was difficult to reach. Looking at a picture of the Great Hall, I cut the rough shape of the entryway into the building. Then I made up entryways onto the flat-roofed building and the astronomy tower. I just tried to keep with the general style. cut some thick strips of textured fondant. I placed one line around the top of the astronomy tower. I also placed a few horizontal lines around the end of the Great Hall and around the sides of the flat roof building. Next, I mixed some black food coloring with clear alcohol to create a gray edible paint. Even though this is for a kids' party, I'm still using alcohol, I know. But rest assured, once the paint has dried, all the alcohol has evaporated and the paint is no longer alcoholic. If you're worried about it though, you can use almond extract or lemon extract instead. I used the paint to paint in all the windows and doors. Finally, my daughter adds the small figures of Harry, Ron, and Hermione. I am super happy with how this cake turned out. It took a long time to get all the details, but it was totally worth it. My daughter was really happy with how it turned out. She kept saying, "It looks just like Hogwarts." We've been reading the books together, and she loves them so much. She wishes she were a witch and could cast spells. This cake is perfect for any Harry Potter fan. Happy 6th birthday, Sabrina. For more cakes and tutorials, visit our website at AmericanBakerInGermany.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe.
Mommy, it looks amazing.
Thank you, Ray. I'm so glad you're happy with it.